Hello, bonjour. Welcome to Pardon Our French with Quincy and Justine. Shana Tova to our Jewish community. Happy year 5,784.
Is that what it is? 5,000?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm like very unaware of a lot of, in general, religious traditions of any religion. Too. So I'm just like...
I actually was invited to a celebratory like New Year's dinner last night with friends that I don't nearly spend enough time with, and it took like a year for us to actually get together.
Yeah.
But it was a lovely evening, and I got to learn a little bit more about it.
That's really cool.
I know that traditionally they eat apples and honey for like a sweet year or a good year. There's a bunch of different traditions. But yeah, 5,784.
That's a lot of years.
I think it has to do with the alphabet, but I'm not going to go further into that because I'm not educated. So, but I had a great night with them.
Cool.
I met some cool people as well. It's always refreshing when you meet people and they're like lovely and you're just like, wow.
Like why don't I get out more?
No, really. Really. It's just kind of like a refresh of just like there are like lovely people out there and I need to, I don't know. Sometimes I assume the worst of people and it's like a bad mindset to be in. I think when life is just not going right, you're just kind of like, anyways.
Yeah. Stuck in a rut.
Exactly.
With good old me.
You put me in such a negative mood, Quincy.
I understand exactly what you're saying loud and clear. Thank you. I am your rut.
Yeah. No. No. I just don't branch out because I'm so comfortable. You know?
I'm the exact same. I'm just kidding.
But I needed to like actually say that out loud because that's kind of what I was trying to say. But it was not.
So you really rallied yesterday because we had brunch.
Yeah.
And we were all
bright and early.
Zombie-esque.
Mm-hmm.
We had the night before we went out on our boat cruise.
Until like 2 a.m.
Until like 2 a.m. And we were like, okay, let's do this brunch. It's this place called Holly Belly 5.
So good.
So good. Highly recommend. But you can't really get a table between regular brunch hours.
You have to stand in line.
For like 2 hours at least.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, let's do this. We're going to wake up. Sorry, clearly
Sultry.
My voice is still recovering from Saturday night, just going down the Seine singing.
Being woo girls.
Yeah, being woo girls. That's what it is. And yeah, so we basically said that we were going to meet there at 9, which is when it opened. So that was ambitious of us.
Yeah.
But we did it.
Close enough, honestly.
Lucille was the only one who was a little far behind. Not even far. She was only 15 minutes late, but I did call her twice. I like did, when you can get through someone's do not disturb. She was fully asleep and I woke her up and I was like, get your ass out of bed. We're going to brunch.
Yeah. Come eat your pancakes.
They're so good.
They're so good.
So good.
And then I was only late because the bus system is just so unreliable. When it says 4 minutes,
I trust you that you were like on top of the game. Don't worry.
But a man was very sweet. I had a story to tell you when I got there. Because I was like waiting for this bus to get here and it says like 4 minutes. And I'm like looking at my watch. I'm like, it's been more than 4 minutes. And this man next to me has been waiting just as long. And he was like, oh, like these freaking buses, whatever. I was like, at this point, I should just walk because like it's going to take the same amount of time waiting for this bus and walking. So I head out and I'm like, good luck, courage. And I'm a block away and I hear, Madame! Le bus est là!
Le bus est là!
Il arrive! And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm like running back in my platforms.
That is so cute.
It was so cute. So
that's
I made the bus.
Yeah. I love when you can like honestly, one of the best ways to make friends with French people is to like complain together.
It's true.
About like things. Like honestly, like so many people I've just like been on the Metro K with, maybe during the strikes in 2019 and, something was not going right as it pretty much is all the time. And you're just like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Looking at each other and you're like, I know, right?
And that's
suddenly
how people
you're good
talk
friends
to
with
strangers.
Them. Yeah, totally.
It's not like, oh my God, I love your top. It's like, no, fuck this person.
Yeah. It's usually it's critical. Last week though, after it was like everyone clearly was still in a good mood from their vacations and the bus was or the metro was packed, like body to body. And these people were pushing and pushing on. And this woman is just like looking around at everyone. Everyone's kind of looking at each other, just like, ooh, this is tough. And she just laughs and goes, c'est la rentrée. And like everyone started laughing and it was cute. Of course, I'm sure it'll only be a matter of days, if not sooner, that all of that is gone. But
True.
Everyone's a little grumpy again. But it's okay.
Because, back to work. There's the cute moments, in life.
You have to savor those when you're like, oh, I'm finally connecting with the French.
Yes.
Hold on to those.
Yeah.
They might be few and far between.
So true. We did all of these wonderful things because your brother was in town.
Yes.
For a short but sweet amount of time.
He was. I sent him off on the RER this morning at 4 a.m. Yeah, that was a little tough to wake up. We were like staying up late watching Only Murders in the Building. Woke up at 4, got him to the RER around 5. It was a great weekend. We did a lot, considering.
Yeah, you guys did.
Since it was the Journée de Patrimoine, we did do Hôtel de Ville. We went to the Élysée Palace. That was quite something.
Yeah, I saw your pictures.
Our créneau was for 12:30, and we got there like 12:15. We had to wait in this line until about 2.
Wow.
And at one point, someone's walking by and asks in the line saying like, oh, like how long do you think this is going to take, to one of the people who was kind of like facilitating everything. And they were like, oh, could be like 4 hours.
What?
And we like flipped out because we're like, that is not, no. And so like the people behind us, we started talking with them. We're like, this is insane. And the girl goes, I have things to do today.
Were they French?
They were French.
Okay, cool.
And she actually ditched.
Oh, yeah.
Because she was like, I have things to do. Like, I can't be sitting here.
Yeah.
We waited it out and didn't take 4 hours. I think what they might have meant is that it might be like 4 hours till you get like out of the visit.
Oh, okay.
It ended up taking us like an hour and a half in line. It wasn't too bad. They had all these photos up of Macron doing like funny things.
Oh, that's
and like
cute.
a photo competition. So there's like a photo of him on a suit or like on a beach in a suit in like the Indian Ocean somewhere, which was quite funny, I thought. But once we got inside, it was insane.
Yeah. I didn't know he had a whole like skylight of red, white, and blue.
Yeah, so that was really cool. And I honestly really liked that part because that was the end of the visit, and it kind of, that whole area was where he does all of his allocution, all of his speeches. And so we saw like the table where he sits that's set up, where he did basically all of his speeches. And then sort of like all the event spaces where he does dinners and things like that.
Yeah.
I was curious. I was like, how many rooms are we not seeing? Because like none of them, some of them I was like, these just aren't realistic couches for you to like be comfortable on. There was one really large one that I was like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
But like some of this, like none of the spaces looked like not lived in,
yeah.
But I'm like, so some of those are behind closed doors. But it was very impressive. And I'm glad I went.
Yeah.
I'm glad I waited. I was like kind of close to being like, should we? But honestly, Ben was the one who was like, no, we're going to stay. We're going to do it.
Cool.
But we did decide after that it was a little overzealous to try to do also the Assemblée Nationale because it was, we had been tired by that time.
I was rallying this weekend. Honey.
We were a little tired. So basically we just kind of meandered around for the rest of the day, finished off with a dinner at Entrecôte, which is the infamous restaurant that serves only steak frites. It's incredible.
Yeah. I think it's like Quincy.
It is. Like literally people ask me, they're like, oh, when I come to Paris, where should I go out to dinner? And I'm like, I don't really know what to tell you because I only go to this one place. Like quite literally. And so I took him there. It was amazing. He loved it. It was really like a red meat heavy weekend. It's like our family is just...
Oh, yeah.
We had steak. Oh, my God. The first night at dinner, he ordered an entree size of the steak tartare for an appetizer and then the filet de boeuf. And then he ended up eating like half of my filet de boeuf because it was so much.
Whoa.
And then we did burgers on Saturday. Yeah, it was a lot of red meat. Just the way we like it.
I mean, when we went to Holly Belly, he had 2 breakfast plates.
He did.
Some pancakes and huevos rancheros, or as the French call it, cowboy eggs.
I forgot about that. Cowboy eggs.
Yeah.
That's too good. Yeah, so we had a really great time. I feel like we got in everything that we wanted to do.
Yeah.
On Friday night, gave him the whole speakeasy tour. Finally got into the back room, the kind of speakeasy within the speakeasy of one of my favorite places, which was really cool.
Love that place.
He did go to Barry's twice. I was supposed to go with him, but I was having some knee
No, you gotta
problems.
take care of yourself. That is just excessive. Not only are you here for only 4 days and you have jam-packed days with Quincy.
And I do.
And I emphasize that she's a planner. Like, she is filling up your day. There are no lulls in your schedule. But you made time for Barry's twice. And mind you, when he he arrived, the first photo that Lucy and I get are Ben is here doing a workout in the middle of her living room.
That's true. I was like working from home, so I was sending emails while he was doing his Peloton, workout. So he was quite active. I was supposed to show up on Saturday morning with a smoothie when he had finished the workout. I was still asleep. He came back and was like, yeah, hi.
Oh, where's my smoothie?
Yeah, exactly. But it was really fun. And I think that, I don't know, it was just great to show him all these places that I go to and be able to like, now he knows,
Yeah, he can see
and he met you guys.
your life
and
here.
yeah.
How is his French?
Oh my gosh. Well, so I didn't give him much primer.
Okay.
So that's
fair.
To be fair. He did learn several words that he really liked. Sortie, he really liked.
Okay. Exit.
Saignant, rare for the steak. But he did get into it. And he loved, because, I taught him how when you go into a shop, you want to say bonjour. And when you leave, you want to say merci. And so he was good about doing that.
That's
and
really
it was
cute.
really nice. But he was definitely impressed by how many languages everyone here speaks.
Mm-hmm.
We went out to this one dinner at this place called Coco. And our dinner was at 8, I think, and they had this show that came on shortly after, and there was a live singer, and he sang in 4 different languages.
Yeah. That was the first thing he told me.
Yeah, he was
the first time I ever met him. We went to dinner, and this guy sang in 4 languages.
Yeah.
I was like, that, yeah. It's not shocking to me, because everybody here speaks at least more than one.
Yeah, but it's interesting, though, to see from his perspective as well, sort of just the things that he noticed.
No, totally.
And it was actually interesting as well, because I was saying what do you think of the city in general, size-wise? And he raised a good point. It's New York is very large, yes, but if you boil it down to Manhattan and then he was looking at the map and he's like, so if you're between 25 and 35, you're really just in this tiny little square. So he did feel like Paris was really big. Compared to that, to the area that he occupies in New York.
I wouldn't know. I've not been to New York as an adult, so.
Yeah. But just in terms of because some people are like, oh,
him.
Paris is so small compared to New York. And it's okay, well, realistically.
Yeah.
And I was telling him that I don't feel like Paris is small. I feel like it's very large. There's so much undiscovered territory still.
And it's also convenient with transport and everything.
Yeah.
I was just talking about this at work today, in comparison to London. And I was like, London is huge. And I love London, but at the same time, it's so hard to get from place to place, and it's so expensive.
Yeah.
So it's you can never really do all of the city realistically.
But Paris is very walkable.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I think we did around 20,000 steps each day.
Yeah.
And a lot of floors because my elevator was out of order until this morning. Of course, it started working this morning, but I'm like, thank God.
She would invite us over after events, and we're like, no.
Yeah, so I live on the 5th floor, which in French standards is the 6th floor, but then they also have the entresol. So I basically, for since July, was living in a 7th floor walk up.
Yeah.
That was tough.
Yeah.
That was definitely
I remember I'd walk up and I'd be like, okay, I've got to be more than halfway. And then you see, you are on the 2nd floor. And
That's
I'm like,
the worst. Yeah. That's the worst one. After that, it's smooth sailing.
Yeah, it's true.
But getting to that 2nd floor is the worst.
Yeah. Speaking of French phrases as
yes,
a tourist or Anglophone, if you will.
Yeah.
Today at lunch, I went to this place that I really like on Montorgueil, which is where we live. And there was this American woman who was standing in line, and it was her turn. And she just goes, yeah, I'd like this and this, just in English right off the back. And the guy looked at her and he's like, oh, how'd you know I spoke English? Really friendly, not in a, how a lot of Parisians could be. And she's like, oh, no, I didn't. I just hoped that you did. He was like, okay, because, next time maybe you can start with, a bonjour, parlez-vous anglais before. And he did, the accent, which I died at, so she would, understand. Just so that like people don't think you're just assuming they speak your language when
Yeah.
you're not in an English speaking country.
That's so, yeah.
And she's like, oh, that's like really helpful. Thank you. And then right behind her were this couple from New Zealand, and they like caught that. And they were like, bonjour, parlez-vous anglais? And the guy just starts laughing. He's like, where are you from?
Oh my God, that's funny.
And so I come up and I speak to him in French. And then he continues in English. And he's like, we're going to practice together. And I was like, oh, you want to practice with me in English? And he's like, okay, it looks like you don't need practice. But he continues. And then as I'm leaving, he's talking to his coworker. And he was like, that girl is Canadian. And I was like, what? I was like, F you for thinking
so
that my
rude.
French accent sounded Quebecois. No. Absolutely not.
Oh my God. Dagger to the heart.
Yeah, I was like, but yes,
Oh my God.
a good little wrap up of the past few days.
Indeed.
But
Yes,
today
indeed.
we're talking about skincare.
I don't know. I feel like my skincare does not. I'm not doing well right now, but
I feel like you have beautiful skin, first of all.
thank you.
But just in general, I think people who are on like Paris Talk or just like learn about Paris and France in general, there's like this whole craze about like skincare in the pharmacy and like how French people have like this amazing skincare. So people like really hoard all this stuff to bring back to the US.
That's true. People rave about French pharmacies, and with good reason. How do we explain? Like,
It's so hard because it is where you get your prescriptions.
Yes.
But what they sell are like really high quality skincare products, like toothpaste, whatever, like pharmacy things.
yeah.
But it's really well known for its skincare.
For its skincare, so much so that like when French people want to buy skincare, they go to the pharmacy, not to a Sephora.
No, they would never go to like a grocery store or Sephora. It's like pharmacies where it's
The
at.
pharmacy is where it's at. And the products are so good.
Yeah.
So good. And like
I
so
have
many.
been converted, I will say.
I have converted to a lot, and I'm like just now, I used to, this is so silly, but I have very sensitive skin, and so I used to bring over bottles of this face wash I've been using in the US for years. And only now am I coming to the end of the last bottle. So I'm like now branching out and being like, okay, this is my time to pick out a nice like gentle cleanser at the French pharmacy. But there are so many like cult products that people love. Definitely a lot of, I know you love La Roche-Posay.
It's my ride or die.
Yeah.
La Roche-Posay is the way.
La Roche-Posay, a lot of people use Embryolisse, the face cream. They're, I forget what it's called exactly, but they have a very famous face cream.
Yeah.
Nuke's body oil is another one of these cult products.
All things Caudalie.
Caudalie, and Bioderma micellar water.
Yep. Micellar.
Is it micellar? Please help us settle this debate. I just like the sound of micellar, but maybe it's not.
I just heard micellar water.
Micellar.
I could be wrong because I pronounce a lot of things really weirdly. I'm known for that in my friend groups. They're like, what did you just call that, Justine? And I'm like, what?
Okay, we'll put a poll. Please help us with this. Is it micellar or micellar? But yeah, Bioderma has amazing ones that are like customized to your skin type.
Oh, that's really
and
cool.
it like takes off your makeup and just in general cleanses your skin before you, you know, are going to wash it and go to sleep. Things like that.
And then I think the number one thing that people come for is the A313 retinol cream.
Yep. People like are buying that by the just stuffing tubes into their suitcases.
Like so much so that it gets sold out and like out of stock in France.
Yeah. And because this is something that you can just order like over the counter, you can just ask for it.
You're not prescribed it. And it's like a high percentage of retinol.
Yeah.
Which
Works
I've
wonders.
been déconseillée of using.
Really?
Yeah, I got like a facial the other day and she's like, if I were you, I'd never use anything retinol on your skin because you have really sensitive skin and it's like already red undertones and it's only going to make it more red.
Interesting.
So, R.I.P. to my wrinkles.
God. That's the thing that's so hard about skincare is that it's like someone can make a video on TikTok and you're like, okay, I'll like write this down and follow what they advise, but it's all based on your own makeup. So like your internal makeup.
Yeah.
And so I think that can be hard. But the French pharmacy ladies are so good at that. You walk in, you say, literally like point to yourself and be like, what do I need?
Yeah.
And they will
They know.
Go around.
That's the amazing thing is that even if you're sick.
They're so like educated about it all.
And it's like a real, I mean, it's a real career, obviously. You have to go to like school, like special for pharmacies.
Yeah.
And they just know. And I think we talked about this previously, like if you're sick or you have any kind of symptom, you just tell them your symptoms and they will suggest what to use.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time it is going to be a homeopathic thing first because they believe in like treating naturally before, going into big pharma things.
Yeah. And then their products are all very clean, very pure. You just feel like you're really getting, good product. And it's tempting because I definitely fell into the whole like drunk elephant trap. Start small where you're like, oh, a moisturizing serum. That's legitimate skincare. I can spend money on that. And then like once you're buying like body scrubs, you're like, this is just not necessary. So I'm trying to like get out of that as well. But it's like in that way, in the French pharmacy, that it's not just some huge, I mean, it is to some extent, but mass product that might, I don't know, live up to the hype. It's like less focused on. You
focus on what you need for your skin. So like, I love La Roche-Posay. Do I take everything La Roche-Posay? No. Like I have my 2 serums from there. I have like a hydrating cream, but then I will have, like my micellar micellar water from somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I have like the magic Egyptian cream. I don't know if you know what that is.
No.
It's like a really hydrating cream that you can use as a face mask. Anyway.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. No, it's people use from different brands.
Yeah. And I would say also that French people spend, like where they're spending money is on skincare, not on makeup.
Yeah.
Because in general, French people do not wear a lot of makeup.
No. That's like the French look is very clean. Like no makeup. If there is makeup, it's like some mascara, maybe an eyeliner, and like
a lip.
It can be a red lip. It can be a neutral lip.
Yeah.
It depends on where you're going.
Yeah.
A lot of people wear a red lip if it's like going out or like to work, but they don't change anything else. Like bronzer, not a thing here.
Yeah.
Not a thing here.
This works out well for me because I don't even know how to use bronzer. So I'm like, this is great because I don't know how to do my makeup. So basically I'm like, oh, perfect. This is amazing. All I do is like a little mascara, sometimes a little blush, and a lip.
Yeah.
And you're good to go.
Very français.
Yeah.
And they don't do their hair. Like hair is not a thing here.
They don't put heat on their hair, whether that's, I mean, do they blow dry? I don't blow dry.
No, I think some
But
don't.
definitely not styling.
I think a majority don't even brush their hair. I think they just wake up.
What?
No, really? This is something that Elora and I noticed when we were first here. Like, Elora's like, I'm not brushing my hair. Nobody brushes their hair here.
Oh, my God.
And, like, you can see. Sometimes it's, like, in the back. It's, like, still a little bit slept on. But it's, like, a look. Like, my boss is super chic. And she never brushes her hair. But it's, like, part of her look.
Have you asked her that? Because I know that the French look is to be, like, kind of disheveled. Kind of, like, like, I don't know. Maybe I just had sex. Maybe, I don't know.
But I don't think it's on purpose. I think it's just, like, it's just effortless.
Yeah.
I think I used to do it on purpose to try and be like that, but it never comes out the same way as if it's effortless.
Yeah.
Also, my hair could never be effortlessly like that. My hair when I wake up in the morning is just chaos.
Yeah, exactly.
Chaos. Like,
in general,
I do put heat on my hair.
And that's okay, Yeah. But the whole French vibe is just effortless. It's chic, effortless, natural, timeless.
Yes. And I think we really need to talk about the fashion here, but that will
we'll do a whole separate episode on that.
A whole episode, because how has it influenced us? And like, what have we noticed?
I had books that my mom gave me, years ago when I didn't, when I was much younger. Mm-hmm. And it was like these books on like how to be Parisian in all these ways. And like comparing a lot of the stuff that was in there is quite true.
Yeah. No, really.
I should try to dig them up or have her dig them up and send me some photos of the pages to be like, is this true? Is this not true? But I'm excited to talk about that.
Absolutely. And I think it's just like in terms of skincare and makeup, I think it's like a telltale sign that you're a tourist if you do have like a full glam look.
Yeah.
Because you won't see anybody here really.
Yeah. And that's not to say like don't do it because like.
No, it's whatever makes you
comfortable. And same with the fashion. Like you can always tell when it's a tourist because like they might have like very like perfectly constructed outfits and they look amazing. Don't get me wrong, but you just know that they're not French because the French
you're not trying to blend in.
Don't put that much effort in.
Yeah. Unless you're like an influencer and then you can tell absolutely. And some people do full glam, like it's just up to you. It's just we're talking majority.
Yeah.
Fashion will be next.
Fashion will be next up.
On that note, à bientôt. Au revoir.